Welcome back to our channel, which is dedicated to the latest news and untold stories about Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and her royal family. Today, we bring you breaking news. Catherine and William's tears over King Charles's big decision to reveal the truth about the cancer battle. An authoritative source claims that King Charles's health deteriorates to a critical level. This is the reason why he chose to have a deep discussion with Prince William and Princess Charlotte concerning the future of the monarchy, including the titles he would bestow upon Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. It came as a little surprise, however, when he bestowed a new highly esteemed title on Princess Catherine last week. Because of all the strain and stress that comes with preparing for a new position, the Prince and Princess of Wales aren't ready to take on the challenge just yet. Evidently, the ambulance and security detail on December the 28th were not for Princess Catherine, but for King Charles. People used humorous tales based on the incident to inform them of Princess Catherine's death. Reports of routine revisions to King Charles's burial arrangements following his cancer diagnosis set off a spiral of speculations about his health. He's seriously sick. Insiders reported that preparations for King Charles's funeral began the day following Queen Elizabeth's burial, and that, due to his steadily declining health, authorities at Buckingham Palace have continually updated plan for his upcoming funeral. According to many insiders who spoke in a report, the 75-year-old monarch's health has been deteriorating since he announced his cancer diagnosis in February, and he's tried to keep out of the spotlight ever since. They're putting their utmost effort, and he's undoubtedly focused on winning. Despite everyone's best efforts, he's actually very sick. A person who was reportedly an old acquaintance of the royal family suggests that this revelation may not be all-encompassing. Although King Charles has been tight-lipped about his cancer diagnosis, he did say that it did not involve prostate cancer, a very curable kind of illness. Although the firm has remained silent over the King's medical trip, influential political watchers and insiders are speaking out about the monarch and reacting very well to therapy. However, advisors to King Charles are routinely reviewing copies of a multi-hundred-page document known as Operation Menai Bridge, which outlines his burial arrangements. We recently brought the blueprints back to life and are diligently updating them. Considering the King's cancer diagnosis, it's hardly surprising. However, their dissemination has unquestionably directed attention. It seems that Buckingham Palace may not have been completely forthright regarding the King's potential fitness, according to a little revelation in the monarch's Prince Harry's biography, Spare. He describes the situation as follows. If you open the incorrect door, you may unexpectedly interrupt Pa while his valet attempts to assist him in getting dressed. The worst-case scenario is that you fall in while he's doing headstands. Pa's physical therapist recommends exercise as the only remedy for the persistent discomfort in his back and neck. There are a lot of old polo injuries. And that's when the actual rub comes into play. There not just being a hint that the unflinching Charles might have been in constant pain during the years when he was doing hundreds of duties a year, patronizing over 420 organizations and leading to the Prince's Trust, which raised over $100 million and assisted hundreds of thousands of youths across the UK and the rest of the Commonwealth. We were unaware of this constant pain predicament. Would we be unaware of any other royal health issues? The public has learned about Charles's far worse situation much later than anybody in the pinstripe suit had permitted before. This is not a single occurrence. The British media merely reported that the Prince of Wales had gotten hurt during a tumble and was escorted to the medical facility. According to details given by the palace at the time of the incident, people generally believed he might have a few minor injuries, but nothing that the night of rest and some children's aspirin couldn't heal. Although this was obviously an example of a humorous overstatement, it nonetheless brilliantly shows the gap that may often exist between reality and the scorchingly economical details shown by the firm. The palace has a history of carefully avoiding disclosing information about the royals and their health, so you do not need to go very far back to discover such instances. Just 5 months after the event in 2020, the public learned that Prince William had actually contracted COVID-19 at the start of the global pandemic. The royal household released a statement the next day, titled Her Royal Highness, which likely left you unaware of the closeness of their loss of their daughter-in-law and grandchild for the Queen and Prince Philip. An emergency caesarean section successfully delivered a baby girl to the Countess of Wessex. The royal couple's mother and daughter are both rock solid. On the other hand, there was a particularly enigmatic event in 2009 when, according to Buckingham Palace, Her Majesty had postponed her official trip to an unidentified country due to other obligations between her and Philip. Someone cut the vowel when it was suggested that the Duke of Edinburgh's withdrawal from the 3 commitments in the previous month could have been his role in this choice. Very, very, very bad. Perhaps Philip and the Queen only remained after a rerun of Morse Ed. A lesson in deception and repetition characterized the Duke's pronouncements in the course of time around his medical concerns and repeated hospitalizations that best him in his latter years. They used the terms precautionary measure and in good spirits so often that it seemed like they were using a pro forma declaration that they liked, just updating the date. Throughout his last 2 months of hospitalizations in 2021, the palace maintained that he appeared to be in good spirits and claimed that the hospitalization was only a preventative measure. In the 12 months leading to the Queen Elizabeth II's death in September of the previous year, the palace's extremely secretive approach to communicating concerning royal infirmaries was on full display. Instead of dropping the royal standard as is customary when Her Majesty is not present, the monarchy of headquarters went to great lengths in October 2021 to conceal the reality that the Queen had spent an entire night in a healthcare facility, which was unprecedented in years. After a report dug a little, the palace was forced to expose the facts, and what really happened finally came out. I should have created a shortcut on my keyboard for the terms episodic mobility issues, which I frequently used during that era. The public only learned about Her Majesty's condition when she missed an event shortly after. The impeccable Giles Brandreth, who is friendly with Queen Camilla and wrote the superb Elizabeth, an intimate portrait, did not assert that Her Majesty was actually suffering from myeloma, an uncommon kind of connective tissue cancer, until after her death. The presidential palace did not voice any objections or deny anything. Listen, I understand that this is a tricky issue. A monarch's dual nature as a national symbol deeply ingrained in the public consciousness, as well as a real person with dreams, concerns, and the odd runny nose, are at the heart of the duality of ruling. It wouldn't be a task I would ever wish to undertake to balance the duties of being king with a person's right to privacy. The issue of how courtiers handle communications about enhancing royal wellness, including the use of swift sticks, is equally important as the necessity of banishing Prince Andrew to a specific isolated area of Yorkshire and deactivating his prepaid mobile phone. They need to figure this out quickly. Since Charles is only 74 years old, he'll keep his position as king until 2045, provided he lives to be as old as his mother. Over the next many years, he and Camilla will undoubtedly age like the rest of us, experiencing the aches, pains, and the sagging skin that accompany aging. The positive aspect is that, in general, people of Hanoverian Windsor ancestry tend to live healthy, long lives. In addition, King Charles has retired from polo. It would be unfortunate if he had another tumble in the future. Thanks for watching the video. For now, we would appreciate it if you could share your ideas with us.